Imagine you hit something with your big toe. Usually it's so painful, and then you notice that the corner of the toenail is broken. In this video, we're going to do dry pedicure on a client with webbed toes and fix the broken corner. First, we need to file and shape the toenails because these are definitely too long. We'll use a special Pedicure diamond bead with green abrasive mark. Recommended length for toenails that will not cause any discomfort is not longer than the toe itself. The only time length like this might be safe is if a person is wearing only open shoes. Because if you have toenails with this length and then you will wear a closed shoes, every toe will definitely change their position. They may go on top of each other, and over time it may cause different kinds of nail deformities. Today we have a special client. Her second and third toes are joined halfway, but there are still separate toenails. So basically we're going to do pedicure as we normally do. The only difference is that we may not be able to use toe separators when applying the color. We're not filing off free edge all the way to the nail bed. I think you notice that there is still a little of the free edge that's remaining, and this is on purpose because later we're also doing gel overlay and we are going to do the final touches to the nail shape after applying the gel. Let's proceed with the service, and then we need to push back the cuticles using orange wood stick. It's such a great and universal tool that can be used both for manicure and pedicure. It's also single use, so normally after the service we give it to the client or you can throw it away. If you're a beginner, I also recommend you to use orange wood stick because there's less risk of damaging the skin, and normally they're not as sharp as the pushers. Keep in mind that this part of the service as well as the rest of them should be always painless. Next, we proceed to dry pedicure, and it's time to clean the sidewalls. Since we have this damaged toenail here, we're going to clean not only the sidewall area but also this part of the toenail. And yes, you can definitely use diamond beads on top of the toenails if you want to clean anything. Now the goal is to push back the cuticles and to clean all these grooves. As a regular pedicure client, I have to say that this part feels so satisfying. For some reason, I always feel like my feet, and especially these parts, they are carrying all this tiredness I have throughout the days, all this hard work. But once they're getting clean, it feels just so relieving. I know that some people see pedicure just like a regular cosmetic procedure, such as painting your toenails, but I disagree. I think that doing pedicure is actually even more important than doing manicure, because on the nails we usually don't have such problems as on the toenails. Our feet are carrying our entire weight the whole day, so it's very important to keep them healthy, to make sure there are no deformities. And when you do alongside with the home care and wearing a proper shoes, of course, you will not deal with a common problem such as ingrown toenails. This diamond drill bit is great for cleaning the side grooves, the area under the cuticles, for pushing up the cuticles and prepping them for further trimming. Small sphere bit is going to push them up even more, so then we can easily do the trimming. But this sphere bead has two bands on it, red and blue, which means it's like in between fine and medium coarse, which is perfect for what we are doing now. And then to trim the dead tissue, we're going to use a bigger sphere bead with a red band, which is softer, but that's enough for a skin like this, because as you can see, this client, she does not have that much excess skin. The speed at the moment is about 16,000 rotations per minute. Whenever I'm talking about dry pedicure or electric nail file pedicure, which is the same thing, and I've been doing it as a client, I think for at least 15 years,
So it always surprises me when I see how some people see it as something completely new and something they have never seen before. So I would like to ask you guys, can you share in the comments, is dry pedicure popular in your area? Is this service offered in the salons or by private nail technicians? Looks like we finished the dry pedicure and it's time to wash the feet using the special cleansing foam, and then you can use orangewood stick with a lint-free tissue to clean all the dust, all the debris that we have along the sidewalls, because we are doing gel application afterwards and we definitely want to avoid all these little things falling into the gel. Soaking feet in the water for a long time usually is not a great idea before doing gel pedicure, because once the toenails will absorb too much water, the adhesion with the product will be not as good. But if you just clean them with a foam like this, then this is completely different story. Let's make sure that we don't have any leftovers after filing and shaping the toenails, which we can do with a thin wooden file. Clean the surface of the toenails with dehydrator or alcohol to make sure that we don't have any soap or foam leftovers, and let's apply the base coat. You probably know about this, that colors on toenails last much longer compared to our nails, so there's no need to do that much prep, such as dehydrator, primer, all these steps. Just make sure that the surface of the toenail is clean, and then we apply base coat. But on toenail, we also need to fix the broken corner, and for that we are going to use fiberglass, which is one of the strongest materials for things like this. Broken nail is one thing, but broken toenail definitely needs something stronger, because our toenails, especially if you accidentally hit something, it just needs more strength. So fiberglass, I think, is a great solution here. You need to apply these fiberglass strands right on top of the uncured base coat, and you need to apply them not only on the area where the toenail is missing, but also a little bit above it, a little bit higher, and a little bit to the side. And since there is also a sidewall on our way, we're supposed to hold it with our own hand to prevent it from moving when we're going to cure it in LED for 1 minute. Now it's cured and definitely secured, so we can trim it. Now let's take off the sticky layer and file and shape this area, and you can do it with a diamond bit or manual file will work as well. This area is a bit tricky since we have a sidewall here and later we will need to apply gel, so it's very important to make it as smooth as possible so it will not be on our way, but at the same time to keep the product there so it will not be extremely thin, because it needs to do the job, and then it's just going to grow longer. Eventually we're going to trim it again, and her new toenail will completely renew. Now it's almost impossible to tell that it was broken, but once we apply the color, it will be absolutely seamless. But we need to add more product, so you need another layer of the base coat. But remember, on toenails, it is very important we cannot apply too much product. We cannot make them thick. It's not the same as nails, because excessive thickness on top of the toenails will also change the position of the toes inside of the closed shoes and also can cause different kinds of deformities. So make sure that every single coat is super thin. Try to choose base coats and top coats that you're able to apply thin and evenly. Choose the colors that do not require too many layers. We decided to do this cute milky color. So first we apply the first coat, and I strongly recommend you to cure at least 4 toenails separately, and then we're going to apply the color on the big toe separately, because obviously it requires a bit more work. There's more chance of accidentally touching the sidewall or flooding the sidewall a little bit, so it's just better if you will apply the color and then cure it right away. I just realized I made this mistake again, so I'm sorry guys for calling a big toenail thumb at the beginning of this video. It's just in my language we really call them by the same name, like toe and a thumb. And also we don't even have the special name for toes. I mean, we have fingers, and then we call toes like fingers on our feet. I hope it was not too confusing and you still understood what I was going to share in this tutorial. After curing first coat for 60 seconds, we are supposed to apply the second one. And whenever you have a color that needs at least 2 coats, it is better to make 2 super thin coats rather than try to apply it in one but make it much thicker. When applying the color on big toenail, you may have some areas that are really hard to reach, such as corners or this area along the sidewall, so it's better to use a detailer brush to do it. Finally, it's time to seal it with a no-wipe glossy top coat. And whenever we're applying the top coat, there's always this temptation to apply a little more, so it will be more shiny, more glossy, but please don't do this. Just make sure that you cover the entire surface of the nail. In Eastern Europe and other parts of our world, of course, too, but especially I think in Europe, some nail technicians are just obsessed with this perfect surface of the nail, and I get it. It looks so pretty, but it's okay to do it on the nails, but when we're dealing with the toenails, I think most people will not be even able to see it. And also, we can just add more volume, and we definitely don't want that on the toenails. After applying the gel, you may notice that the shape, it doesn't look as smooth anymore. So it's absolutely okay to do this with a thin wooden file 180 grit. You can finish the filing and shaping. On the big toe, we also had this fiberglass repair, and now that we file and shape it, it looks so pretty, and the toenails are slightly shorter now, so we have this perfect length with some extra space for when her toenails are going to grow. After 2 to 3 weeks, they will still not be extremely long. Finishing the edges with electric nail file and diamond shaping bit is also fine if that's what you prefer instead of hand file. Also, do not forget to round the corners. This part is very important because if a person is wearing socks frequently, it may be quite a disaster when having them sharp because they are going to tear down everything. Oh my god, they look so cute now. Let me know, guys, what kind of topics would you like us to cover in this pedicure section? What tutorials and videos would you like us to do? Time for the final touch, the final washing of the toes with the cleansing foam, using lint-free wipe to clean all the sidewalls. This is the final look and the part I was bringing your attention to. Look how thin the color application is, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, consider subscribing, as I will be posting more pedicure tutorials as well as nail art and extensions tutorial every week. See you in my next one.